In March of 2020, we packed up everything we owned into a U-Haul and moved across the country from Phoenix, Arizona to Charlotte, North Carolina. It was right around the time when businesses and restaurants were shutting their doors, so we were unable to do a lot of what we had planned. So that's why when we made the decision to move back to Phoenix 4 years later, we knew we had to make the most of our drive. We loaded up some pods and hit the road. So come along with us as we drive across the country and stop to see some of the best sights, taste amazing food, and enjoy the stunning scenery. So we started out early for our first leg of the trip. We grabbed some breakfast sandwiches and made our way out of North Carolina. This was a really beautiful drive that takes you through the Smoky Mountains, and we tried to keep our drive times around 4 to 5 hours per day so that we'd have plenty of time to sightsee along the way. So our halfway point was this Buc-ees Gas Station, and Buc-ees is a world famous gas station that has a huge following. It had an insane number of gas pumps, and this particular location was one of the largest Buc-ees in existence. And here they have super clean and spacious restrooms along with their famous Texas-style grab-and-go barbecue. Most people come here for the food and sparkling restrooms, but they also have specialty jams, sauces, a bakery, a beef jerky counter, and fresh nuts, just to name a few. Mike and I both grabbed their best-selling brisket sandwich, and it was delicious. It had the perfect amount of flavor and sauce, and the meat was tender. Definitely a great pit stop on our way to Nashville. All right, so we made it to our first stop here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we are staying at the Placemaker Hotel. I believe that's how you say it. So before check-in, we arrived a little bit early, so we decided to walk the Pedestrian bridge over the river, and that was really pretty because you got some beautiful views of the city, and we could see where the Tennessee Titans play. It was nice to just kind of stretch our legs a bit after the drive. So then we came and checked into our hotel. They let us check in a little bit early, and they did upgrade us. So I'm going to insert a little hotel tour right here. Okay, so Kona is going to show you around our little hotel. All right, Cone, what's this? This is the bathroom. And then in here we have our living area and kitchen. So some of these are actually apartments. I believe they converted some of this into a hotel. So some people do live here, and then some of them are just like hotel rooms. So over here we have this really nice view of the city. We're kind of on the back end, but we do have the view of this pool over here. This place does have a pool as well. And then there's also a balcony. And then if you go over into the bedroom, it's just nice and cozy, very comfy here. It kind of feels like a home. I'm kind of bummed we're only staying here one night, but you got this big walk-in closet. So really cute. It's all walkable to Broadway, which is why we booked this place. It was pretty affordable. Definitely a really cute spot. So after checking in, we headed on over to Broadway to get that quintessential Nashville music experience. And let me tell you, even though it was 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, this place was super lively. You basically get a show just by walking down the street and get to sample all of the different types of bands that are playing.
Yeah, she's real sick, nickel, she's right on money. I wouldn't give her up for 1,000.
So before we picked a bar to enjoy, we needed to fuel up. So naturally, we had to try Nashville's famous hot chicken. And we heard the best places to go for this are Hattie B's and Prince's. We picked Hattie B's just because they had a dog-friendly patio. And I got the hot chicken sandwich, and it was so good. I like spice, and this had the perfect amount of hot for me. It was super flavorful, and the chicken was cooked perfectly. The sides were also really good. I got the pimento mac and cheese, and we also got bread pudding for dessert. The sandwich was really good, dipped in their house comeback sauce. Definitely a must-try foodie spot here in Nashville. So after we were all fueled up, it was time for some music. And we were lucky enough to find a spot that allowed dogs inside called The Stage on Broadway. And we loved this spot. We sat towards the back just to make sure the music wouldn't be too much for Kona. And everyone here was so sweet to her and brought her a drink. We also got drinks for ourselves, and both bands that played while we were there made it a point to come and chat with us and get song requests, which was super cool. We ended up staying here for way longer than we planned because it was just so enjoyable. welcome the next day. This morning we woke up pretty early and we saw a really beautiful sunrise. It was really cool to have all these big windows so we could just kind of have a slow morning, watch the sunrise, enjoy some coffee. And now we're gonna go have breakfast at this place called the Pancake Pantry. And apparently the original location is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and it's really popular. So then they opened a location here and it's like a block from this hotel. So they have a little dog-friendly patio. We're gonna go enjoy some pancakes and then we're gonna hit the road to our next city. So we made the short walk over to the Pancake Pantry and this spot was super cute. We did get there really early around 7 a.m. and there were only a couple other people there, but we were told that by 9 a.m. this place would have a line to get in. So definitely get here early if you can. I got the sweet potato pancakes and Mike got the peanut butter chocolate chip pancakes. Both were delicious, and here they actually give you two syrup options. One is a cinnamon cream syrup and the other is a homemade maple syrup. Obviously, I had to try both to get the full experience, and everything here was really tasty, and our awesome waiter even brought out sausages for Kona, which she loved.
Down on those.
Oh my god.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Think of that.
So after breakfast, it was time to hit the road and get to Little Rock. And on the way there, we passed the Arkansas state line crossing the Mississippi River. And they actually have a walkway called Big River Crossing where you can walk across the entire river. And the bridge itself is nearly a mile long. And we did this back in 2020. And it was just fun to be in two states at once and see how grand the river was up close. But this time we kept driving through because we had some things that we wanted to see in Little Rock. All right, so we made it to our hotel in Little Rock. And this is the True by Hilton. This is really nice. It's got a big spacious bathroom. It's our shower. We got some nice vertical storage over here. We've stayed at a couple True by Hiltons, and this is definitely one of the bigger ones that we've seen. So got a little refrigerator over here and then our TV. And it is nice to be on the ground floor. We did love that last hotel, but this will be nice to take Kona in and out and to get things in and out of our cars. So we're gonna go try to head out to find somewhere to eat now. So for dinner, we headed on over to I-40 Brewing, and here they had a large outdoor patio with picnic tables and string lights. And this spot is a craft microbrewery, so Mike got the Rooster Hazy IPA. And I'm not a big beer drinker, so I opted for their Fuzzy Navel Hard Seltzer, which our waitress recommended, and it was probably the best seltzer I had ever had. And then for food, I got the White River Pizza. This had lemon ricotta cream, goat cheese, fresh thyme and lemon, and it was the perfect blend of flavors. And then Mike got the Stinger, which had salami, peppers, and jalapenos. And we both really enjoyed this spot, and our waitress was awesome, and the food was just super delicious. Next, we made the short drive over to Old Mill, and this is a free public park featuring a historic recreation of an old water-powered mill from the 1800s. And if this spot looks like something straight out of a movie, that's because it is. Old Mill was featured in the opening scene of Gone with the Wind, and something to note is that dogs aren't allowed here, so Mike and I just took turns walking through this enchanted park, which felt like something straight out of a fairy tale. So the next morning we grabbed some free hotel breakfast and headed to our next destination.
All right, we made it to Oklahoma City. Yay! We drove about 4.5 hours today, which that was our shortest drive so far, which was nice. Yeah. So now we are going to go get some food.
So for food, we headed on over to Spark, which is located in Scissortail Park. And here they have a cute outdoor patio that overlooks the gardens of the park. And there were so many beautiful flowers blooming while we were there, and you'd get whiffs of them on the breeze, which was just such a pretty atmosphere to eat lunch in. And Spark is a burger and custard joint that reminded me a little bit of Shake Shack, and we decided to get the pink fries, which kind of tasted like a garlic aioli topped with Parmesan and parsley. Everything was super yummy, and of course when we saw a Pup Cup on the menu, we had to grab one for Kona. And our plan was to walk around the park a little bit afterwards, but once we got out in the sun, we decided we should come back later in the morning when it was cooler.
Hey guys, so it is very hot here in OKC today. So basically we just kind of went back to the hotel after we walked around the park for like 5 minutes, and we we just recharged, we cooled off. Mike worked out in the indoors and I kind of did some work, so it was nice. And now it is happy hour time, so we are gonna go try the spot that we've heard really good things about and just check out their rooftop.
So the Hall's Pizza Kitchen was probably my favorite food spot of the entire trip. They had this really cute rooftop patio and we scored a spot in the shade, which was nice. And after all the food we'd been eating, we were craving some salads, and these guys really hit the spot. And then we also split a pizza, which was so good. It had that wood-fired crust that was perfectly soft. I really liked that they let you do half and half. So I got the Russell the Goat, which had goat cheese, balsamic tomatoes, and a basil and walnut pesto. Honestly, everything on their menu looked insanely delicious, so if we ever come back to this area, we will be sure to stop here again. So after enjoying some time on the patio, we decided to head over to Lake Hefner to stretch our legs a little bit. And this was such an unexpected spot to find in the middle of the country. It reminded me a lot of New England or Cape Cod, and it was nice because there was a strong breeze blowing which cooled everything down a little bit. And Lake Hefner was actually built in the 1940s to help expand the city's water supply, and there were a ton of restaurants and walking and biking trails for the public to enjoy. And one of my favorite parts of this lake was the beautiful Hefner Lighthouse. This was actually modeled after the Brant Point Lighthouse on the island of Nantucket, and it was a super cute spot to walk around during golden hour and just enjoy the stunning coastal lake views. Honestly, you forget that you're in a landlocked state, and if we ever come back to this area, I'd really love to try to eat at one of the restaurants on the lake. So we woke up early the next day to be able to explore Scissortail Park in some cooler temperatures, and honestly, we were so glad that we did. It was really peaceful to be there before any of the crowds got there, and the park itself is named after the state bird, which is the scissortail flycatcher. And this place was massive, and there was so much to do and see here. There were beautiful ponds reflecting the city skyline, as well as extensive gardens that smelled so good, and there was even a little gated dog park, which Kona thoroughly enjoyed. There was also a kids play area complete with a huge slide that Mike and I could not resist. You actually had to rock climb tiny sections to get to the top of it, which was really fun. And we were there before anything was open, but they even had a paddle boat and kayak rental space for $15. And then there was also a snack pavilion overlooking the lake, and we saw a large group of yoga in the park. It just was obvious that the city planners here in OKC did an awesome job with this space. Definitely a really fun spot to stretch our legs before another day of driving. And before we hit the road, we couldn't leave without trying the breakfast from Cafe Cacao. And this is arguably the most popular brunch spot here in OKC. And we just did takeout since we had Kona, but the thing that I was told to get here was the famous pupusas breakfast, which are 2 handmade pupusas stuffed with cheese and pork. I also got their Mexican cold brew with vanilla, cinnamon, and secret spices. Both the coffee and breakfast were phenomenal and definitely a great place to fuel up before our drive to Amarillo.
All right, everyone, so we made it to Amarillo. We're at our hotel. This is the Best Western Plus, and it's actually really nice. It's brand new. We have a very big, spacious room. It's very modern, and the bathroom's nice. We got a nice gym, a nice indoor pool, so we're happy to just kind of rest and relax here. If you can't tell, a lot of this video has been driving, and then we jump right into sightseeing, so it's been a lot of go, go, go. So this stop specifically was meant to just kind of rest and reset. Last time we came through here though, we came in March of 2020 and we visited the Palo Duro Canyon State Park, and that was really cool. It's like this big canyon with lots of beautiful views. It has like kind of like this red orangey color, and that could be a fun thing if you're planning to come through here. It is June right now, so it's super hot. It's like 95 degrees. So since we've already done that, we decided to skip it, especially since we have Kona and she would be dying in the heat. We're just gonna kind of relax, go to the gym since we've been doing a lot of sitting and eating, and just kind of plan our next stops. We actually do have something fun planned in Amarillo, but we're hitting that tomorrow at sunrise. So I will check in with you guys then.
Hey, was this gonna be hot or ice?
Iced, please.
Iced?
And you guys you have pup cups?
Pup cups? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can we do one of those too?
Okay, Kona. So we woke up before the sunrise to beat the crowds at Cadillac Ranch since we heard it gets very busy here. So we just wanted to get there early, and Cadillac Ranch is a free public art installation with 10 Cadillacs stuck nose first into the ground. And people come to take pictures and put their own personal mark on the cars with spray paint. But as you can see, we had a big storm roll through in the middle of the night, and the whole thing was just a giant mud puddle. And this wasn't like a little bit of mud, it was suck your feet into the ground kind of mud. So we were really bummed that after all that, we couldn't even get to the cars, especially since this was one of the activities I was the most excited for.
All right, so we are so bummed because we bought all of this spray paint. I had such a cute idea, and it is just a pool. Like, you can't even get to any of them because it's so wet. Kona is like all muddy. Our shoes are all muddy. So I think we're just gonna take in the sunset and maybe do this another time.
So on the drive into Amarillo, I remembered seeing something along the highway that kind of looked like Cadillac Ranch. So I just did a little bit of quick research, and I found the new Slug Bug Ranch at the Starlight Ranch Event Center that literally opened the day before we got there. So you could still see the original paint on most of the cars, and the best part was that this spot was paved. Honestly, this ended up being better than Cadillac Ranch because we had the whole place to ourselves and there were way more cars here, and we got to paint a VW Bug, which was cool because Mike actually has a VW bus. So our Cadillac Ranch fail actually brought us to discover an even better spot, and we had so much fun putting our own creative marks on the cars. So after our spray painting adventure, we got back on the road and watched the landscape change from the flat plains of Texas to the hilly Orange Mountains in New Mexico. And on our last trip, we went to Albuquerque, but this time we decided to drive the extra hour off of the 40 to experience Santa Fe, New Mexico. We had heard so many good things about this unique and beautiful city, so we decided to stop in and see it for ourselves. And the first thing on the agenda was food. And here we ate at Tomasitas, and actually in Santa Fe, they have a margarita trail where you can try different renowned margaritas at different restaurants. So obviously we had to participate. The margaritas here were delicious, and something that New Mexico is known for is their chili. And the common question here is green or red, and a common answer is Christmas, which means getting both. So I tried the Christmas style enchiladas, and they were so delicious. Mike got the tacos, and he was also a big fan, but I will say the star of the show here were the sopapillas. These come with your meal, and it's a fried dough that comes out warm and soft, and they serve it with cinnamon butter and honey, and truly it was so good. Definitely an unforgettable meal to kick off our time here in Santa Fe. So after we were full and happy, we headed over to check into our hotel, and we stayed at the Las Palomas, and this spot was so charming. All of the rooms had that authentic Santa Fe adobe look, and it was also walking distance to downtown with free parking, and we just really enjoyed staying at a place with a super homey and authentic feel. So after checking in and dropping off all of our bags, we headed off to the famous Canyon Road Arts District. And this spot is known for its art galleries and traditional architecture. It was so pretty just to walk through, and here they have really beautiful gardens, and we were walking through later in the day, so most of the galleries were closed, but we really liked the Whifford Gallery, which had an entire outdoor area with a ton of water features and sculptures that was just beautiful to walk through. So the next morning we headed over to the breakfast area at our hotel. We got a spot out on the patio, and here they have coffee and pastries, but they'll also make things fresh for you. So I ordered the Christmas style breakfast burrito with chorizo, and it truly was so delicious. Mike got the breakfast tacos, and we were saying that it was the best free hotel breakfast either of us had ever had. So after breakfast, we headed over to the downtown area, and it was super fun just to walk around through the shops. There were a ton of clothing clothing boutiques, Southwestern jewelry, restaurants, and home decor. So it was just kind of fun to walk around and take it all in. But something that we really wanted to see here was the Loretto Chapel. And this was actually featured on Unsolved Mysteries. It was $5 per person to get in, but they were super nice, and they even said that Kona could come in with us, which was really nice. So the story goes that after the chapel was constructed in the 1800s, the nuns needed a way to access the choir loft above the chapel. Several carpenters were consulted, but said that it wouldn't be possible without encroaching on the seating space below. So the nuns prayed for 9 days straight, and on the 9th day, a stranger appeared offering its carpenter services. It is said that he constructed the staircase using only a hammer, a handsaw, and a T-square. He left just as mysteriously as he appeared, with no one getting his name or him receiving payment for his work. The staircase is miraculous in its construction because there are two 360-degree turns with no center support. Some even believe it was constructed by St. Joseph himself, so it was really neat to see this mysterious work in person. Next, we headed over to Il Vicino since our friends that we met at breakfast, Robin and Paul, recommended it. I got the margarita pizza and it did not disappoint. It was really perfect because we were able to just bring these on the road with us as we headed out to Arizona. So our last stop was the La Posada Hotel in Winslow, Arizona. And as soon as we got there, we were taken by how charming both the architecture and the gardens surrounding the building were. The hotel coined the phrase the resting place, and honestly, that was the perfect way to describe our stay. Being here really felt like you were transported back in time because the hotel actually opened back in the 1930s, and it was very popular during that era. So it had a ton of celebrities that came through, and actually every room was named after a famous person who had stayed in that room. And we had a really fun time meandering through the hallways, reading about all of the guests, and we had the Jackie Gleason room, which was room 211. Okay, so here's our hotel room. Kona is super happy to be here. They're very dog friendly at this hotel, which is really nice. And it's truly just like stepping back in time. I love the decor. They did update this. I believe this sat vacant for like 40 years. So it's really cool that they refurbished it and now people can experience this historical hotel. So super cute little bathroom, and we're excited to just kind of head out, eat dinner here, and just explore more of the history down in the lobby and around the garden. So that night we had dinner at the hotel restaurant, the Turquoise Room, and we celebrated making it to Arizona with nothing other than some prickly pear margaritas. I had the chicken and it was really good. We also watched a little video that they had playing in the lobby about the hotel's history. And then the next morning we just walked around some more. And this is one of the places where you can really feel the history because of how well preserved it is. So we really enjoyed learning about the hotel's interesting backstory and just walking around and being able to see it for ourselves. And another great thing about this spot is it's walking distance to downtown Winslow. Winslow is a well-known stop-off along Route 66 because the Eagles sing about standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona in their song Take It Easy. So obviously we had to go stand on a corner and take our pictures. They've really done this up here, and there's even a flatbed Ford which is also sung about in the song, so it does get crowded, so we made sure to stop here early. Next we stopped for breakfast at the Flatbed Ford Cafe, and this spot was so delicious. We loved how it had that small town feel. We were talking to the owner who was super sweet, and then we also chatted with some fellow tourists, and the food definitely matched the atmosphere. We both got the pork, egg, and potato skillets, and they were seriously so phenomenal. I also stopped at this Rhinestones and Bling boutique to get some turquoise earrings as a little souvenir. So after that, we headed back to the hotel to check out and make the last leg of our drive to Phoenix. All right, everyone, so we just made it to our rental home, and our next video will be a full empty house tour, but we really did just love getting to drive across the country, and I think it really made a difference to spread out the cities and minimize our driving time so we could really experience all of the stops along the way and just have time to enjoy and make it feel like a vacation, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was nice. This time we got to actually do some stuff as opposed to the drive out to North Carolina.
We kind of just rushed through that.
It was, yeah, just get there was the kind of the the MO.
What would you say your favorite part was?
I thought Nashville was fun. I thought we had a good time there. Got to bring Kona into a bar, which was kind of fun, and they had some good music playing. Good chicken too. We went to Hattie B's. That was a good spot.
Really good.
What would you say was your favorite?
Santa Fe for sure. It just had so much charm in the architecture, and it was in the mountains, and I could have stayed there for like 4 more days. It was also really cool just to kind of see the landscape change as we drove across the country. You know, we'd be in one state and it would be a certain type of scenery, and then you'd cross the state line and you'd see it slowly change. I feel like that was a really cool experience too. Like I really enjoyed that. So that was fun to actually see that change as we drove across the entire country. So definitely a fun trip. Thank you all so much for following along with us, and we will see you in our next video. Bye.